What's up? We're back with another episode of the Rich at Heart podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. God damn it.
No, we're just waiting for it.
I know. We just appreciate you guys tuning in and the positive feedback that we do get. I love it. I mean, even if there's some negative feedback out there, just fucking feedback. So just say something.
Just say something.
don't be the person lurking and I see there's like 80 views and like one comment. Like, what the fuck are the rest of y'all doing? What the fuck are you guys doing?
Oh my gosh.
But oh shit, we just appreciate you being here and everything. But what we wanted to start talking about is compatibility. So, or as Andrew Tate would say, compatibility.
Compatibility. Fuck him.
He got canceled since our last episode.
Good.
Yeah, he's gone. He's completely
I knew that was
banned.
gonna happen.
He's gone from TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, all of it. He's been banned.
Okay, well, how do you feel as a man in the manosphere who admittedly said yeah, I subscribe to him, I love
Oh yeah,
him.
yeah.
How do you feel about him being canceled?
I guess you could see that it was coming because
is there a lull across the manosphere, or
there's you know what's funny is on TikTok is scrolling through my TikTok or even YouTube where it gives you suggested stuff. There'll come up some guys that are legit angry, right? They're legit angry that he's off, and they're like, oh, so and so can shake her ass and have her OnlyFans on there, or
they talk about Cardi B.
Maybe some of them, but a lot of people were attacking, even Jennifer Lopez. Like, oh, she could jump from man to man, and provoke, provoke other women to think it's okay to do this. But one man stands up and says men should be men, and now he's banned forever, type thing. But it's like, dude, he has said some crazy shit. You know what I mean? I think he's purposely said crazy shit.
Yeah.
To help further his own brand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Can we take a minute and just realize that the men who are thinking like this, what's his name? The black guy, he's dead.
Oh, Kevin Samuels?
Kevin's dead.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate, his career is dead.
Yeah, it's gone.
So, y'all just need to figure out who y'all following and who y'all talking to, because, this whole manosphere thing is dying, getting canceled. This is crazy.
That's true. But is canceling good or bad? We should shun out things that are, I guess, bad. But, does that make it, harder in the future to, not have discourse?
No.
Because you can't have discourse with that person because they're so hard-headed. But, I don't know. Can't you, cancel a lot of things?
Well, yeah, I guess there's a bad area to canceling, you know what I mean? Because, what if it becomes utilitarian in, 1984 or,
George Orwell.
Totalitarian.
Yeah.
I had to read that for class.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, and we're you can't say anything that goes against the agenda, you know what I mean? Or else you're completely gone. And then we're like communist China,
the establishment.
Or you can't do or say anything against the government, or else you end up, gone and you're in a can of Alpo dog food.
That's what I'm saying.
Not saying that really happens.
Ew. It's a different topic. But no, I feel it's just it's telling of this thought process that these men are having. It's not going well for them.
Yeah.
It's detrimental. It's not only just ridiculous, it's harmful.
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. That's where I feel it's that's where counseling is is okay. Because his rhetoric and it's more it is divisive. It's detrimental to the relationships of men and women.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel it's...
And to most people who don't think for themselves, it implants ideas that they think they should act on, and it could end up just ruining a lot of things for people.
Well, it also promotes cult followings, you know what I mean, people following, and we saw that happen with Trump, right? It's this cult following happened, and now look where we are. So I feel where there was a time where people were super comfortable and they wanted to think for themselves, and they wanted to be individuals, and they wanted to be original and have their own thoughts, but now I think we've reverted into groupthink again, right?
Yeah.
And so we've reverted into it's easier to follow someone.
Yeah.
Instead of having your own thought process, because there's so much to process.
Is it always placing blame? like every one of those cults and stuff, they place blame on something else, like whether it be immigrants or
Women.
women, gays. Like
Right.
it's always something to blame, right? That
Mhm.
people
Yeah.
follow. Is it
Mhm.
always that?
I think
Is
so.
it
Yeah,
ever
that's how
not
you.
that?
Well, you got to build it. So you got to build the cult on an ideology, right? And so the
Mhm.
ideology is
It needs framework.
yeah, it needs framework. So
Yeah.
like, women are intrinsically bad because they're indoctrinated here in the West to go against their normal roles, right, and shit like that, which was pretty much that's like the main. I don't know. The main thing they're serving in the manosphere is that like, women have fallen out of line. They're not.
Patriarchy. Right?
Yeah, they're not believing in what has made men and women successful for all these years, and it's going to be the end of society type shit, right? But what people who think for themselves already know is like, dude, the times change.
So
You got to change with the times.
do you think there's two establishments? Like, what do you consider the establishment? Because would you say? Okay, go ahead.
I think the establishment has been looked at as the governing body or who's in control of what we hear, see, and everything like that, right? But now with like social media and all that stuff, like the establishment could be so many different things. Because I mean, cancel culture and all that stuff came from people. Like, you know what I mean? It's not coming from the government. It's literally coming from people expressing how they feel about certain situations, and then they're canceling these people because they're coming in waves and droves of.
Like society's
Of-
influence has
yeah.
become like almost bigger and more influential than governmental influence.
Yeah.
But that's what I was gonna say. Do you think that like not just the traditional establishment is the establishment, but also people who have high influence are the establishment as well? So just as you have people on this side, going traditional, but you have people who will die by the people they look up to, or people they want to be grouped in with. That's an establishment too.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
the Illuminati.
Right. Yeah. It's an establishment. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's a
Right.
thing.
Mm-hmm. And it is an establishment of sorts that they create the agenda to move people into a certain direction, so that culture moves into a direction that benefits them, right? Which is where you get the argument where that's happening to demasculate men, so they can't fight back. So that if they do want to take over, now there's no men that actually know how to fight back, right? Is what an argument can be made from people who follow like the manosphere and red pill and all that stuff, right? They could say, they're trying to demasculate us and make us like women, so that when shit goes down, we don't know how to be men and we can't retaliate, and now they just have us by the balls, pun
What are these
intended.
balls that you just keep getting chopped off and like removed?
Well, shit, balls. That's where testosterone's made. It's in the balls. So if you remove the balls from a male, they become stagnant and can't do anything.
Great, it's awesome.
That's how a bull becomes a stag.
But but yeah, like I'm just wondering, like, so do you feel like now that some of the heavy hitters in the manosphere like have taken the L, like
And died.
and died and been canceled
Rest in
at this
peace,
point?
Kevin
Yeah,
Samuels.
it's terrible. Like, how, like, are you guys gonna be okay?
There's other guys out there that they haven't touched yet, like Fresh and Fit.
He's
Those
like,
guys
no,
are
we still have
Those guys are out there.
Soldiers.
Rolo Tomasi. And I probably shouldn't name them because then the Illuminati's going to watch something and be like, okay, these are the guys we got to take out next.
Dang.
The Feminati.
The feminazi.
The Feminati.
Dang. But see, that's like negative. Like you're making,
Yeah.
you're reducing it to feminine.
The feminazi.
Yeah.
That's a quote a cool name, though. There should be somebody out there who creates like a brand called the Feminati.
No.
They're naughty. I'm just kidding.
No.
They get naughty. I'm just
That sounds like a porn. I'm just
But would you? Now going back to robots, not sex robots,
Aw.
but like
No.
robots in authority or something like
Yeah.
that. So do you think that's good or bad? Does that take humanity out of it and like it's equal, it's fair, it's just? So like there's
What are these
no
robots
bias. Like say policing, right?
No, yeah.
So like, but they could be very strict. Like, okay, if you don't have your mask or if you don't have this, then you're automatically you have a consequence. Like
Yeah.
there's no like, okay, I'll let you slide, or I understand, or what do you think?
Okay, there's only a small certain amount of things that I would be okay with robots being in control of, right? Like, okay, policing, maybe, because here's the thing with like policing. You are subject to that police
Emotions.
officer's emotions,
Yep.
thoughts, prejudices, and beliefs that he grew up with, right?
Just hoping you're
Yeah.
like a decent person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And most of them come from. This has always been the thing, and I said this when like you think about a couple of years ago, even with like the George Floyd and even Trayvon Martin and all that stuff, it's that these guys that were enforcing the law, they don't speak the same language as a person who's coming up in an urban area.
Right.
It's literally a language divide, right? Where if they would take it as aggressive, that's just how we talk to each other. You know what I mean? Men from an urban area will talk to each other a certain way than a guy from the suburbs will, right? Because they're more stoic, they're more like, they don't really let their emotions come into the conversation. But in an urban society, we do. Like we show, you know what I mean? Like we talk in a way, even our slang is revolved in how to let you know how we feel. They don't speak that. So they can kind of see it as like, oh, he's being aggressive. I don't understand what's going on. Now I feel like I have to defend myself. So they say, right? And then they'll shoot first, or they'll choke him out or whatever. So a robot might not do that because a robot is getting its information from all these different sources. So it's not subject to their own personal beliefs, their own personal prejudices or anything like that. So they probably could police better, realistically.
Yeah.
Right.
And it'd be only the human like programming if they did make it like a high consequence or something like that.
Right.
Or something, it'd be programmed to do that. Not like a computer has its emotions.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But then where I would not be okay with it is making general decisions for the masses, because then you get like a fucking Ultron from Marvel movies type thing where it's like, okay, there's so many of these bad people. Why don't we just kill half of the human race and leave the rest of them, because then they'll be okay. You know what I mean? Like the reason why you guys are all fighting is there's too many of you. The solution, kill most of you. And
well, it's the opposite of what you, or like it's the opposite of what you said about why you would be okay with robots policing, because the emotional element would be removed. So it makes it safer.
Right.
But in that situation, like you'd be missing the emotional element, and that's what you kind of want to be able to make like those type of decisions. Like you want someone with discernment who can feel empathy, like someone who can, see someone else's point of view. So like it's almost like the opposite, like you're missing that.
Right.
So and that's like that just shows like in the different parts of life where like emotion can be valuable or it can be hurtful. Like in the decisions that we make, like do you want emotion to be a factor, and like do you want that to be a weighed in, or like is this a situation where emotion needs to be like completely removed? And as like humans, like I don't think we could ever completely remove emotion. It's just like the whole thing about like juries, like you know what I mean? Like you ask a jury, like if they can be neutral about a situation.
It's never neutral.
No. Yeah, like there's no way, and they're lying, like But if you're like emotionally intelligent, you know that, but you just have to ignore that. Yeah. And so.
Because I was thinking like, sorry, we're going into a deep conversation, but like, say I went to Wendy's, right? Yeah. And the car in front of me, like, he was like a hillbilly type of guy, right? Not to be rude or anything, but yeah. And then the person on the intercom, to me it sounded like music, because they were like talking like good to each other, like the same language, like you said, right? But then when I pull up, I don't know, I feel like I didn't get that same like respect or whatever, but I don't need it. I just was like, oh wow, they sound like they're getting along, right? And we're not getting along, but it's okay. But like I feel like I didn't get the same treatment. But like if it was up to you, do you think that people should treat everybody like Jesus and vice versa? Does that make sense? Or do you think people in their head don't think like people are worthy enough to be treated like Jesus, so that's why people don't treat each other good?
So like,
think about if everybody technically treat each other like Jesus, right? Or family, right? But like, do you think people just don't do that off rip because they feel like people don't deserve that respect?
Well, yeah, to an extent, I think so. Like people are already here, like in Utah, right? We go to somewhere that's like a Utah, like a local centralized Utah thing. We know how to be in that environment, right? And we know how to talk to a person in that environment. But if we were to go to like the East Coast or somewhere foreign to us, we wouldn't know how to react in a certain situation where they all know this is how we act here, this is what we do here, type thing, right? So it's the same thing. And it's hard to have just a general, general understanding of everybody's ways, right? Where like if you could use like Jesus as a comparison, that's compassion. He just had compassion for everybody, where he was trying to meet them at their level type thing. You know what I mean? So if we all did that, yeah, that'd be great. But most people can't do that because they have their paradigms, right? Their ways of thinking, thoughts, ideas that are triggered by what they did growing up, what they're tuning into regularly that paints their worldview. You know what I mean?
But like with what you said, like you're like on the flip side, like you're assuming that everybody knows what that looks like. That everybody knows like what treating someone like Christ or like Jesus looks like, and some people like don't even know what that means,
right? Or
some people don't like subscribe to God in that way. So then, by virtue of that, like we're not going to treat everybody the same because like we don't have the same thought process. Like some people like don't even think God exists. Like some people are like, I don't know God. Like I don't know what that means. Like you know what I mean. So then for what you were like what you're saying, it's like a smaller population of people who would know what that looks like. And I think that's like what like where we get caught up in just like society and like treating each other. We assume that we all know what the other one knows.
Right.
Oh,
and then like we expect them to like treat us accordingly when that person might not even has never experienced that. So like for example, like if I'm talking to you and I'm like telling you about something, like maybe it's like food or something, like oh my god, it's so good, like the texture, like and the way it felt like this, and like I'm trying to describe something to you and I'm expecting you to like oh my god, that does sound good, and you're like I've never even like tasted anything like that, like is it like slimy? Yeah, is that slimy? Like you're trying to think of like why that's good, like you know, and the person's like oh my god, like you don't love that, like just assuming the person knows like what you're talking about,
what you have a taste for and stuff. Yeah, but it's like giving everybody like the benefit of the doubt already, right? Like you're giving somebody already the like your not humility, but like you know humanity. Yeah. Whatever. But I don't know. I was just like I guess a tangent that I was just wondering like.
We went off on a lot of tangents today.
Awesome. Yeah. But with people's paradigms, I guess that could go into compatibility though, because people have different paradigms.
Yeah, and I think every single person has different paradigms, right? There's not one person that's the same as another person. Like you can subscribe to the same things, but those same things you subscribe to can affect you in a different way than affects the person that even says they like the same things. You know what I mean? But the whole deal with like compatibility is what can occur without causing conflict is what compatibility is. Like a lot of people I think have a general sense of compatibility means you like the same things I like, or we can get along with the same things, you know, or we're not going to fight about these things. No, it's about what you can compromise that's not going to cause conflict. You know what I mean? That's compatibility. Like
I feel like both. I don't know how is that true?
But we can look up the Webster Dictionary definition of compatibility. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing that I'm learning from because I read it in a book. The guy was like, most people have different meanings for words. Yeah. So you can meet somebody who their definition of happiness is completely opposite of your definition of happiness, but you guys think you are on the same page of happiness. Right. You know what I mean? But if you literally look at things as they are and you go by that, then you can build a better worldview. You can build a better understanding of people. You can build a better understanding of the world in general, and understand that things aren't just happening because, you know, oh, they're not happening to you, they're happening for you type thing. You know what I mean? So it's just a beautiful place to be when you know that you're operating on your own mind, you're operating on thoughts and ideas that you have, and you got to express those to other people too. Yeah. You know, that's the thing.
Be descriptive.
Yeah, you're not going to meet somebody who's completely in line with everything that you're in line with, which is not possible. But I think a lot of people think that. Like, oh, I'm going to find somebody who's completely compatible with me, and that means that they're your complete, like, you know, twin flame. It doesn't happen. You have to build the twin flame.
But is that like an opposites attract thing? Because like,
I think so. Yeah.
I've learned like just like going to school, like opposites really don't attract. Like like you have to have somebody with like similarities too, like more often than not. Like so opposites don't attract. Like you guys can have like differing opinions, but like you guys can, but like you have the same end goal. Yeah. Like you know what I mean? Like, you might have like a different thought process about how to like get there, but like your core is still the same. You can't have somebody that has like a completely different like nucleus than you, and expect for you guys to like see eye to eye on a situation. Like that's just not going to work, and that's where it's going to create conflict always.
Do you think that's why there's always going to be enemies though, right? Because like people are going to have like, not to say like you choose a side, but you are a side, right?
Right.
You fall in line on a side or whatever. But like, I don't know. So you should have compatibility where you're kind of on the same level, but like you're going to have people who are opposite or whatever that they can't get along or anything. Maybe.
Yeah.
You have people that can, but you also have people that are throughout history that can't.
Right.
I think that's normal. Like, I think that's okay. And I think that's like part of like what makes society run is like not everybody's compatible. So like that's where nuance and differing ideas come in, and like that's what makes people creative, because there's like, oh, like I would never go about like doing that this way. Yeah. And so like I'm gonna figure out like a way to make it work on this end. So like I feel like non-compatibility is like almost necessary to like keep things moving forward.
And do we always live and let live? Like, I don't know. Of course, we all have our rules and stuff like that, right? Throughout society and stuff. But like, do you feel like live and let live? Like, if it doesn't bother you, if mind over matter, like if you don't mind, it don't matter. But should you mind?
If it's affecting you directly, like if it's somebody in your close circle, absolutely. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I don't know if it's just somebody that you know or somebody that's, you know, around you, like your neighbors. Like your neighbors don't have to do the exact same thing you do. They don't have to have the exact same beliefs that you have. Right. You know what I mean? But you have a commonality of being neighbors where if they got to borrow something, you know, it's a neighborly thing to do, give them that, vice versa. But it's not like you have to agree upon every single thing. No. You know what I mean? To be neighbors, right? But if they're in your circle of people, you should have a general sense of compromise and compatibility. You know what I mean? That's why we are friends with friends that we have, because we understand each other. We know to a general consensus what the do's and don'ts are in the friendship, you know, relationship and stuff like that. If they go past that line, then it's gone. You know what I mean?
Okay,
so that's
What was the worst compatibility that you guys had, dating or a relationship?
Oh, that's a good question.
Said dirt, did a pivot.
Right.
That's great. You go first.
I think the worst one,
or even you go socially, and then you could go relationship or, you know, dating or whatever.
We'll just go over all of it. But I think that like the worst compatibility that I had relationship wise is it was just an age thing, right? Because she was older than I was when we were dating and stuff like that. Her life was already in line with certain elements that she wanted that I wasn't ready for. Well, one, I have a kid. Like I had a kid. She has a kid too, but her kid's much older than my kid. And she was ready for absolute settle down marriage type shit, where I had a young child and I'm like, I'm not necessarily looking to completely 100% settle down right now. So our lives weren't compatible in that way, like full on marriage type relationship. Mm-hmm. So that was the conflict and compatibility at the time.
Well, my compatibility, I think also like has to do with like willingness too. Mm-hmm. Like you were like, it wasn't even just like y'all weren't compatible for those reasons. Like you weren't willing to like give up certain things. Like you weren't willing to start certain things. Like, you know what I mean? So like you could have been, if you were willing, like it would have been, like you would have been more compatible.
You weren't ready though.
Yeah.
Or you didn't need it either too.
Right.
It's your choice, what you want.
Right. And that's the thing too. Like you have to meet somebody that's in the same, like not even the same place, but willing to meet you where you're at.
Right.
Like, and I think that's just like the universal like conversation of like, that's how people is like, you need to meet a person where they're at.
Yeah.
Like you can't expect them to be here. You can't be upset when they're here. Like if you want to like interact and be in that person's life, like you have to meet them where they're at, or else like it's not gonna work. So like I think age has like a lot to do with that too. So,
yeah, it definitely can, because like if you guys aren't on the same page in life, it's just not gonna work. Even though all the other boxes are checked, right? Like,
do you think two people should always like, because of age, be on the same page in life?
I mean,
Like, are there expectations that we set on each other because, like, we are a certain age? Or, like, we're this old. Like, we need to
Yeah.
have, like, X, Y, and Z at least figured out, put together.
You
Right.
should, yeah, but expectations always ruin relationships
Mhm.
because people don't always meet them, or things could fall through. So I try not to put expectations on anything as much, just friendship,
mhm.
relationship, whatever, just because I've always been the type to like fear the worst or whatever, or like expect it. So like when it doesn't happen, I'm always happy. So, but that's me.
And you weren't, like, setting yourself up for something.
Yeah.
Like, you're almost, like, preparing yourself. But, yeah, like, I just feel like there has to be, like, a certain level of willingness that goes into compatibility. It's like, I feel like there's all these other, like, adjectives or, like, verbs that go into, like, what makes up compatibility as a whole.
What if it was minor stuff? Like if she listened to stuff like Another Generation or something like that. Like say her grandmother listened to this, so she was into like old timey 40 music or something like that. Like could you handle that?
Yeah, I think so, because
Okay.
those things are not going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that you can. It's going to occur without conflict. Like, why would I get extremely upset that she listens to old music? You know what I mean?
You wouldn't get upset,
Yeah.
but I'm saying
or why would it break the relationship?
or like
right,
say she's making dishes that are like old or something like that, or like
Yeah.
I'm not being ageist here. I'm just trying to think of like scenarios where it's like
Yeah.
It's like you about to get this whole podcast canceled.
yeah, like do you think that there could be those opposites, like where people like are too extroverted for you and you're like introverted, or like I'm just trying to think of movies like The Heartbreak Kid or something where people aren't
Like it's just too
compatible.
far left.
Too far.
Yeah, it's just too far. But that's like your decision, right? Like, does it bother you? Like, is that like, are you like, dang, like I wish like she'd cook something from like this century. Like I don't even know what this is. Like we have to like order like ox. Like we don't even eat ox anymore. Like ox. Like you know what I mean? Like
those Jello dishes where they put like I don't know like.
Oh, like the
little
Mormons?
sausages or something. Yeah, something like that. Like, I don't know. Like that
carrots
used to
and
be
shit in it.
yeah, what?
Or like the chocolate is old. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
Jello. Did you say sausages?
Like
Sausage in Jello?
something like
Some
in the
weird shit
40s.
Jello, yeah.
White people put like a lot of dishes inside Jello because it was like a fad. I don't know. I'm just.
Oh, I don't even know about that. But that's like what?
Might be a no.
Like, and then Roman's like, I just want a Jello shot. Like, I want vodka in my Jello.
Yeah,
I don't
like,
want
I've
sausage
never heard
in
of
my
that.
Jello. Yeah. And so, but that's the thing. Like, you have to
Right.
decide whether or not, like, you want, like, if that's okay. Is that a problem? I was watching this TikTok and this guy, or it was a clip of maybe like The Big Bang Theory or like Parks and Rec or something.
Some show like that.
And it's with the bigger black lady and the Indian guy, and he's like, he goes to the black lady's house and like she's like with Genuine and all these pictures like are there, and so he was like, man, he's like, Genuine. Like, Genuine? She's like, oh, yeah, that's my cousin.
Yeah.
And then his girlfriend was like, who's Genuine? And he was like, and then it, like, shot back to him like, with a clip. He's like, okay, there's 3 things that, like, would be a deal breaker in a relationship. And he was like, number 3, not knowing 90s R&B. And so, like, he was like, I gotta let her go. Like, you know what I mean? And so I'm just like, oh, yeah, like, is there something like that, like, I just couldn't, like, if my partner didn't know that, like, that thing.
Yeah,
like,
but like you said, if they're willing to be put on to, like, getting to know it. Then it's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're completely just like, no, I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to deal with
too
that, like,
much for me.
situation.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, I was like, as I, like, go into dating and, like, talking to someone, I'm just like, could I be with somebody who didn't know R&B music?
Who doesn't like it or
And I'm just like,
yeah, they don't understand.
as long as they know enough.
Okay.
Like, to, like, they have, like, some type of foundation. And we can build on it, and they're willing to do that. I'm like, it's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Because some people are like, oh, my God, that's terrible music. Like, that's not even music. Like, you know what I mean?
Some people, like, think it needs to be faster or something, right? Like, but no, we grew up to that. And
I listen to R&B music, like, when I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like, just sad songs when I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like, you know? It just puts me in a good mood.
shit.
Yeah.
So then what is yours, either social, you could do both socially or dating relationship that was not compatible?
Probably one of, like, it's kind of the same. Like, one of my exes was, like, 9 years older than me. Like, I was with her when I was like 21 and she was like almost 40 or she was like in her, no, just kidding. No, she was like in her 30s. And so it was like almost a 9, that math was not mathing.
Okay.
The math wasn't math.
Everyone said what? Anyway, so yeah, she was a lot older than me and she didn't like to go out. Like she wasn't like a people person. She did not like people. She was like not compromising about that. She didn't like taking pictures. She didn't like to be seen. And like y'all know me, I like to be seen.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like to go out. Like I'm a people person. So like the majority of my time with her was spent inside. Like, so that's hard for me because like I am an outside kind of person, for the most part. And she didn't want to do that. So yeah, that ended up not working. And she used the N word with the hard ER during an argument. So we were not compatible.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably like the most extreme, like as far as like relationships go, and as far as friends go. Like you guys know, like I have like a smaller group of friends. Yeah. Like I know people know me, but like not everybody's like a friend. Like you know, not everybody can say that they know me like that or like whatever. Yeah. Which is fine, but like I don't like a compatible, non-compatible situation. Like as far as like friends go, are just like gossipy people, like people that aren't genuine and people who always just like dramatic people. Like I have a hard time with that because like I'm so chill. Like and so we were talking before like this is just like I can't get with that. Like I can't like. It's just like weird behavior to me, like just because I'm like, there's no reason to like front or put on shows or lie or be sneaky, be shady. So like I don't gravitate towards people like that. Yeah. And it's almost like an instant like visceral reaction. Like when I'm around that type of energy, like I'm a very pleasant person to be around, but like when I get around people like that, it's just like almost instant. I'm just like not nice, like you know. Maybe it's because I'm trying to protect me and like or protect people around me. Like I don't know, but that's like that would be like a non-compatible like type of like social situation, like not genuine people. And I think like we can feel like when that is. And I can't think of like a one that like exists right now, like socially necessarily. But yeah, like I just think like I know like what type of energy that I want to be around. So like I know like what type of thought processes that I probably wouldn't be compatible with because like I'm also not willing to like heed to it or bend to it. So like that wouldn't be compatible. It could be like if I was willing to bend, but I'm very not bendy in a lot of situations.
Yeah. I think it's okay to bend though, not break. But like you need somebody kind of opposite of you to take you out of your comfort zone. Like if she was willing to like go out here and there and stuff like and you know expand her you know social circle or you know her experiences. That's a
compromise. It's a compromise. It's like, okay, I'm not a person who likes to go out.
Yeah.
But because my partner, beautiful partner, likes to go out, I'm gonna go out with her to look good because she's gonna look good by me. Yeah. That would be a compromise that would make things work.
Let me take photos of you.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, like you know, I'm a very outgoing person too. I love to be out. I love to be meeting new people. I love it. Like it's a thrill. You know, like I love it. But like my partner doesn't. Like she likes to have a certain social circle. Like she only likes people who knows who she knows and vice versa. You know what I mean? And new people kind of like it's just not her thing. And I'm the opposite. But we're compatible because I am that person to bring a new person in and like she trusts my judgment of people. You know what I mean? And so we're compatible in that way. But it's a compromise too, because she's willing to compromise her being kind of guarded and you know, and uncomfortable because she knows I can tolerate it. I can be the extension of her that isn't that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's like true compatibility, I feel like, you know, where you can find somebody who can add to you. That's compatibility, right? Yeah. They don't have to be the same as you. Like, the worst thing I think is you find two people that are the exact same in some circumstances. Like if they're two homebodies, they just want to be home. They cut everything off from their lives. Now they only know each other, and it could be toxic if you just stick around one person and you don't have a social circle. Yeah. Everyone needs a social circle. You know what I mean? you have to have people outside of you and your relationship to keep you whole. That's why it's important to have friends, males should have male friends. And I think to an extent, friends of the opposite sex too, which we've talked about on other episodes and stuff. But it's important to have that because you got to have different perspectives. Because if you're stuck together, you're going to have these limited beliefs or these limited thoughts and ideas of what is supposed to happen, and then you're in a toxic situation. Same thing if there's two people who are just completely outgoing, right? And they don't spend enough time together. You know what I mean? Then you're out there and you're giving yourself to a bunch of different people, but you don't know who to give, who you two are together.
Yeah.
So there's a balance. You know what I mean? There's a balance you got to have between you and whether it's your partner, your friends, or whatever. Like your friends should even have friends that aren't your friends. Because then it's going to give them new life to bring to your friendship. That's just how I feel things work.
Mm-hmm. And I was saying that's like speaks to like who you surround yourself with.
Right.
Like that's so important to like have people who are going to elevate you around you, even if it's like not a direct like directly around you. Mm-hmm. Like so I might have a friend, like you said, who has like a completely different set of friends. But like I know those are like solid people too. Right. Like I don't have to be their friend, but she's going to bring something different to like our relationship because like she has that connection and like those relationships. And like people are like, well, you shouldn't think of like friendship as like connections and like networking. Like it's exactly what you should think of. Like, that's exactly what you need to think of relationships for. Because like, who am I like if I don't have like a robust network to take me to like the next level, like or like why how do I bring value to somebody else's life? Right. Like you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm always like looking to be valuable to someone else. Like if you can't be used, you're useless. Right. Like right.
But you don't want to be used up though.
Well, not used up, but like if you have nothing to offer anybody, like something. And you bring nothing to the table, like well, no, we're not gonna like call Sade. Like why? Like what is she doing? Or like what? How would that benefit us?
If you think about that in family though, like with family, should you have somebody who's like not to say useless, but like you'd have to love them regardless, right? Even if they're not of use to you.
Yeah, like in situations like that, like you can't choose your family, like and hopefully like you are of the thought process of like that's my family, I love them, right? But like our relationships are so much bigger than like the families that we grew up in, and so that like shows us who we are because like we then have the choice to who we're going to have, like how we're going to curate our lives.
What company you keep.
Yeah, what company we keep. Right. Like you can't choose your family. Your family is your family. But then we get this other like cool, unique opportunity to pick our friends. Mm-hmm. Like we choose your friends, not your family. And that can be like positive or negative. But like that shows like who you are to see like who you stack up, like, right? And and I think like in every like situation there's gonna be like people that you don't that you really can't, like, you know what I mean? They genuinely are just great people, like, you know what I mean? And there's like nothing that they can do to help. There's nothing like you can do to help them, and they're just there. But I feel like the effort needs to be conscious, like about who you line up in your life, like, because like that's who you are. Yeah. It's like if you're walking to the room and you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Get out of the room. Like abort mission.
Yeah, it's a reflection of yourself. Yeah. But like, do you think so? Like with you guys, do you think some people look at it like so? Like say it's substitute teachers or teachers, right? Yeah. Like you start off with an A, and then you have to prove yourself that if you go to an F. So people already give people the benefit of the doubt. But some people start off maybe introverts or something like, oh well, they have to prove to me that they can get an A. Does that make sense? Like, do you have to? It's like you give somebody an A already, right? Right. It's like you meet people, you love meeting people, so you're already like, oh, this is a great person until they show me otherwise. Right. Some people are like, no, you have to prove to me you're a great person. You're starting with that takes too much energy. Yeah. So like some people don't want to go through that.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I think people who are guarded like that are damaged people. For one. Yeah, because it is. But I think it is. In my life experience and everything, I think people who automatically have that you got to prove to me that you're a good person type thing, they're a damaged person. They've been let down by a person who they perceived was a good person, and then they felt like something happened to them to make them not a good person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now they're in a deficit already.
Mm-hmm.
They've already put themselves in a deficit where like, I'm guarded, I'm in a deficit, negative energy. So now you have to prove to me why you should be in a positive, why I should look at you in a positive light. So that's just from life experience. I think in general, like you look at little kids as the reference point. Little kids will accept anybody.
Yeah.
They'll accept anybody and be like, oh, you're great. This is my friend. Like they'll be friends in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then something will happen to make them not friends. But a person who's older usually has those reserves where they're like, oh, you got to prove to me that you're a good person because they've already been put in a deficit so far in their life from people they've trusted. Now they're in a negative energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's coming from a place of hurt. It's coming from
exact words is like they're damaged.
They're damaged. They are.
And see, like I think the opposite, like, or not the opposite, but I feel like I'm not like I can start you from a deficit, like in not a negative way. I can just be like, I'm indifferent. Like it's not like
you have a clean slate.
Yeah, just a clean slate. Like you're not here. Like you're only going to do things like put points in your bucket or whatever. You know what I mean? And so it's not like I'm judging you any different. Like I'm not treating you any different. You're just kind of there. And then like once like we start building relationship, I see in certain situations, dang, like, this is a good person. Like they have integrity. Then like those are little things that are just gonna like build that person up to me. But giving somebody an A, in the beginning, like, nah, like you're just gonna be there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think what Roman was saying was that, like, if I met somebody, I gave them an A, and then I brought them to him, and he's like, okay, well, his A isn't my A. You're at an F. Build me while you're an A.
Yeah.
That's where I think person's broken. Because like if you
start somebody at an
F.
Yeah.
If everybody else, like let's say 6 people that know this person, and they gave them an average rating of an A minus. Okay, we're giving people grades now. An A minus, and they meet you, are you automatically gonna be like, oh, you're a fucking F? Prove to me why you're an A minus. Like, no. I'm gonna be like, oh well, so and so said, okay, so you got to keep your A minus now. You're coming in as an A minus, keep your A minus. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's just like certain level of arrogance too. Like, who are you that I have to prove anything to you in the first place? And I think that's like where like we operate now, especially in like a social media era. Is like
with following counts and stuff.
Yeah. Like that's how like we base like who somebody is or how great they are. Like they can make like great content, like their videos are funny, but they're shitty people. Like
That's true.
Like in real life, like they just put on that face like for that.
Yeah, for the 30 seconds, 3 minutes camera time or whatever.
Yeah, but they're really a crappy parent, or like they're just using their kids as props, or they're going through all this like messed up stuff in their relationships. Like that's like, that's what I'm saying. Like we rely too heavily on people, and then like
image.
And I just feel like, who am I to like say that you like? I'm saying like you need to be here. Like who am I to like? Am I even here?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know that we have like, we don't really have the I don't know, like
the judgment, because I think we shouldn't judge people, but like I guess we should judge them to be at least a base level decent human being.
Yeah,
but not anything above.
The bar
that.
is decent. Like the bar is decent. Like, and I feel like a lot of people like nowadays just fall short of just decency.
Yeah, or they'll sacrifice the decency for other things, like how you said,
like
using for props or not being authentic and real about what they're doing, or
Well, that's like the whole how we were talking about Vanessa Bryant getting that settlement for those photos of Kobe and Gigi. That person put themselves before they put Kobe, before they put their Gigi, before they put Vanessa. Like they were worried about like themselves and like how they would look by being the ones who like leaked those photos. Like, you know what I mean?
So
like
they
want to
get money
first
out of it, or like I didn't read into like
it was more of just like
publicity, or like people.
it was publicity.
They were the first on the scene, so they were first responders. They took the pictures, and then I think they sent them to like TMZ and outlets like that. This is before they got like Vanessa Bryant got the confirmation that, hey, your husband and your daughter's dead. So these are the first responders getting there, taking pictures of the bodies, sending
not
them
even
off.
having compassion
Yeah.
for someone who's lost their
Right,
life,
and then
just
sending
saying,
them off to somewhere where they know they might get a check. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they received money from it, but still, it's fucked up.
I don't think
Like,
so. And that's
yeah.
that's what Vanessa Bryant was fighting for. Like, they shouldn't be compensated for this. Like, if they were, like, that needs to be like taken away. Like, these were humans. This was my family. This is like, you know what I mean? So that person, those people, those first responders, like, their bar was here.
Yeah.
And like what they were willing to do to be the first to like break something was here. Like forget it's Kobe Bryant. Like, that's a like.
Do
It's a
we?
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't know. I would say, like, because it's the daughter, like, that's like really, really harsh too. The harshest,
Mhm.
because, like, say Paul Walker, right, where he
Yeah.
burned up in flames and stuff. I think they put the pictures too. Like,
Mhm.
like all of it's
Right.
bad and disgusting. But yeah, if you're, I didn't see the pictures, but if you're like doing like bodies or something,
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's horrific.
Yeah, it was that.
Oh,
like
it is,
it was the scene, it was that, like, it was all of that. And she's now traumatized in a sense. Like, she had to see that, like, us as the public,
Right.
like, it was intercepted before we were able to see it,
That's
but
burned into your
she's
brain.
seen that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And that should have never been a picture.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? Or it shouldn't have been taken by you, like a coroner, like whatever.
Right.
Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, their bar was here. Like, their level of human
Right.
decency was very low. And like, that's what we were going back to, like what we were saying earlier about, like, you're really just relying on people and society to be decent human beings. Like, you're relying on everybody else to make a good decision. I think, like, maybe Charlamagne was saying that, but like, we literally wake up every day and hope everybody just
Right.
acts right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's true.
Like, because we can't control
Yep.
other people around us,
Yeah.
society,
You
or,
can't
or
control other people's
yeah.
actions, how they think, or anything like that. What they do.
going into
You
a
know what I mean?
store.
Yeah.
Like, you're just hoping, like,
You're just
everybody's
hoping
acting
everybody's
right.
acting
Like,
right, yeah.
You know what
Just
I mean?
yeah.
And like, you're not worried about like not coming
Right.
home from the grocery store, but like, now you think about
Yeah.
it. Like,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
people are
Yeah.
like,
It's true.
now I'll just get this shit delivered. Like,
Right.
I'll pick it up. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, like, just act right, y'all. Like,
Yeah.
and then we can get along. Like, we don't have to be compatible. We don't have to
Right.
be friends. Like, we don't have to talk. We just act right.
Yeah. That's right.
Act like y'all got some home
Actually,
training.
It's
Kind of
home
reminds
training.
me a little bit though of that movie, like where it's like there's like, say there's an app and you pay somebody to do something crazy, like say like, oh, go slap somebody, I'll give you, online, and I'll give you $50 or $100, and somebody goes and slaps a random person. Like, do you think we'll get to a point where it gets like that?
Probably.
Because right now people are doing it for the attention, right?
Yeah.
For the likes, or for
Like,
to
it
boost
becomes
their-
like a business.
right, and it becomes like a thing where like people are actually paying money for people to do some
Things.
wild
It could.
shit.
Because you look at what's that one with the celebrities on there, like they do shout outs. Cameo.
Yeah.
Like they do some weird shit. Like there's been some celebrities I heard on podcasts where like, yeah, this guy fucking paid me almost $1,000 to break up with his wife. Like tell his wife we're getting a divorce. And he's like, and I felt so uncomfortable, but fuck, he's giving me $1,000. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to do it. And like he's a celebrity. And he's like, hey,
But that's
it's not
celebrities.
working out.
Bar is low too. Then at
Yeah.
that point,
Yeah, to
he's
do
like,
it for money.
he's still like a celebrity, and he's still at $1,000, and
Yeah.
you're gonna do something that
Break
crazy.
up at home. Like,
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like you have to hope to
Yeah.
fuck with higher
Right.
And in his
vibrating
head,
people.
he might have thought they're gonna break up anyways.
Right.
Just-
It's like, take
Might
it
as well
together.
get my
guy-
grand.
the guy should have did it to his wife
Yeah.
anyway. But yeah, no.
It's so
Like,
crazy.
Do you
Okay,
think everybody has a price ultimately though? Because like technically probably, but like
Probably in certain circumstances.
yeah,
right?
not
There's some,
every-
there's some,
not
yeah,
every
yeah,
level, not
there's some
every
things
level.
that people just won't do,
Yeah.
or depending on the person. But like,
Right.
yeah, but there's, I guess, yeah,
we're getting to a point where the price is like lowered, right? Because
Maybe.
how we said attention.
because now you
People
get
do it for
attention and money.
and
Because we do it on social media, you
Right,
get the
right.
attention and then you
So
get money.
the
Yeah,
price-
because that's more valuable than
Yeah.
money at
Right.
this point.
Mhm.
Is like the recognition, the C's, the views, the likes,
The
like
Cs.
all the C's. Like, I see you. Like that's more valuable than the money at
Yeah.
this point, because like if you get enough of that, like the money's gonna come. So like you're gonna do the weird thing, like, you know what I mean, to get there, and then you can be like, that wasn't me. I was
Right.
just young and I was stupid and I'm not like that anymore. You can say that after you are like you're
Yeah.
on, like, you know what I mean?
or someone who got like a big check for something, but like, oh, I got this check, but yeah, what'd you do?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the YouTubers, like I guess it's okay, but like the YouTubers are like knocking each other out, and stuff in boxing.
Yeah.
It's entertaining, but
Right.
like some cannot box and
Right.
they're getting knocked
They're
out.
getting fucked up.
But yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Well, going back to compatibility too. What are like? Should people have predetermined, like, I'm not compatible with this type of person, right? Because I kind of think that's in a way
Yeah.
a prejudice.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know who you're going to be compatible with.
Yeah.
You got to give people a chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I sent you a video, and it's funny because it was sent to me by Lo, my girl, where because we're such a good space right now in our relationship, but it's funny because if you look at the zodiac sign shit, our star signs aren't compatible or whatever. So she'll send me some funny ass fucking.
So she's a Sag. And you're
Yeah, I'm a Capricorn. She's a Sagittarius, and because if you're being all esoteric and shit, I'm an Earth sign. She's a fire sign, and fire's gonna scorch Earth, so it doesn't work. It'll never work or whatever.
Yeah.
That shit to me is just like ridiculous. Like if you're really going out there and you're not going to talk to certain people because of their star sign, that's the same. To me, that's the same
That's
thing.
like
as,
such a thing
Yeah.
right now. Like, what are you?
Right.
Like, if you're in a club, like,
Gang.
what's
Yeah.
your sign? Like, and
Yeah.
you sent me that video.
Yeah, I
Where
seen
the guy
that
like
video.
went through the club. He's like, "What's your sign?" He's like, "Nope." Like,
Yeah. And it's funny because it's so true. Because like, do you see how pressed some of those women got?
yeah.
Like he's like, well, what's your sign? And she's like, oh, I'm a Virgo, and he's like, oh, I could never. And then they get like, what? Wait. Like,
Yeah.
like they get so pressed about it. But it's like, bro, like that's a prejudice. Like that's like saying, oh, I would, I'd never date somebody from Laotia because I don't like Laotian people. And then you're like, what the fuck? That's fucking prejudice as
Yeah,
fuck.
we're not
You know
all
what
the
I mean?
same.
Yeah.
We're not created equal.
So it's just ridiculous. But I just think that there shouldn't be predetermined reasons why you don't like somebody. You have to get to know the person, right? Like you generalize people. That's what makes society bad, is when you generalize people.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But you got to get to know the person for the person. Like, I mean, wasn't it, MLK as part of his speech, it's judging by the content of the character, not the color of the skin. But now people today are quick to judge people by
When they were born.
yeah, when they were born.
Mhm.
What the fucking, where was the moon when they were born and all
Yo,
that shit.
yeah, I'm finding myself, I'm falling into that. I'm like, Dad, do you know what time I was born?
Yeah.
And he was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, do you know what time? And
Yeah.
I was like, I just have a copy of my birth certificate.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the time. I'm like over here trying to access my records, like so I
Yeah.
can see like what my rising
Yeah.
and my falling and like who I'm supposed to, like, you know what I mean? That's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't be basing my life
Basing
off
my
of
life
that.
off
Like,
that.
do you know what I mean? Having my parents think back 34 years,
Right.
like, nigga, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's in the records.
Yeah, it's somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, we shouldn't be judging people by zodiac signs.
Right.
But oh god, you're saying something. I was like,
But it's a time thing, right? Like some people like who are more serious, they don't have a lot of time to like, so they're kind of just trying to
weed out in general.
Yeah, trying to like narrow down the specifics, and
Yeah.
like you can have a preference, not prejudice, but like a preference,
Yeah.
and like so I don't have a lot of time, so I need to find the person fast, right?
So they narrow down the
Yeah.
categories so that a
Yeah.
person's gonna fit what they want. Dude,
Yeah.
that's some fucking. This isn't Burger King. Have it your way.
Can't have it your way.
You know what I mean? Like love has to be a genuine thing. It can't be pre-selected, predetermined.
Yeah.
Oh, the person fits all these boxes and categories. I'm now in love with them. You're gonna set yourself up for failure every single time. 10 out of 10 times. If you have a specific, okay, they have to be this, they have to have that, they have to look like this, they have to do that. You're gonna set yourself up for failure. You're gonna fall in love with the individual. You know what I mean? That's what it's always been about. It's falling in love with the individual, finding somebody who, whatever. You're able to compromise this, that. You find compatibility with that person. Boom, there you go. That's a good relationship. You know what I mean? It's like you can't have all the boxes checked and everything in line. Oh, I'm praying, hoping, wishing for this person. They're just gonna fall into my life. It doesn't happen that way. It just doesn't.
Well, you have to like fall in love with the idea of like being able to like grow with that person.
Yes.
Like even if like the individuals that you like the two of you are at the moment
Right.
don't necessarily match, like you have to be committed to like saying like, okay, like I can do what like it takes to make this work. Like I can make the compromises, the sacrifices that I need to. So like I don't think two people like have to be like completely compatible like right off the bat. Like you just have to have the willingness to like, do what it takes to become like compatible. Because like some people are just like unwavering.
What if like let's say in the future, right? Like so this would probably be online, but say hypothetically if this ever was watched in the future, do you think that they'd ever get to a point where it's like there's a relationship contracts where they're like, oh, we'll do a 2-year plan, and
Yeah.
then we'll talk after that, and then right.
Oh, I'm definitely saying that's probably going to be something in the future.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of already starting,
Because
right?
like when you're in a relationship, you kind of like
Yeah.
just like let it flow and stuff, right? And then like sometimes how they say like the relationship could be over before like you guys ever break it off.
Mhm.
So yeah, and like you kind of just like let the time go and like yeah, but like with the contract or something, you know, a verbal contract, whatever, like 2 years we'll talk at this
Yeah.
date, and then you negotiate or something. You think that's possible?
Yeah, absolutely. Like she said, I think that probably is kind of happening now.
I think it's happening now because like think about like because we kind of talked about it last week is like all of these like standards like that we have for somebody, like, you know what I mean, like you have to have this, you have to do that, like I'm not gonna even talk to you unless you check these boxes, right?
Mhm.
And so once you find somebody that checks your boxes, like, and if you're a good communicator, then like you're gonna like talk to them and be like, okay, this is like what has drawn me to you, this is like what's put us here. But if like you're not able to like uphold that, like that's not gonna make me happy, and like I might have to like bounce, like, you know what I mean? And so like that's kind of the contract. And like when people like veer off and cheat, like how you guys were talking about, like women maybe cheat more
Oh
than
yeah,
men.
Vlad thing.
Study.
That's
Yeah.
like you guys like you're saying it's proven that women cheat more than men. It's because like I feel like it's because of that. Like you didn't hold up like that verbal contract that we had. Like you're not buying me, like you're not staying fit, like you're not giving me money, like you're not providing in the way that you said I was. So like at this point, like you voided that contract, so now I'm a free agent.
No.
It's null and void.
Null and void.
And so even though it wasn't a written contract like you're talking about, it's like a verbal contract. Like I told you.
Some people might have that contract in their head though too, and not really fully
Yeah.
express.
Yeah.
Right, which
Yeah.
does happen, and like,
yeah.
so, like it's crazy because
So I know you fucked up the contract. But you don't know that you fucked up the
Yeah.
contract.
that Vlad TV study, right, about women
It's
cheat
not
more.
his study; it's an actual study.
Okay, sorry, but
Okay.
you put it on Vlad TV.
Yeah, yeah.
But women cheat more
Well, I didn't
than
say
men.
shit.
But women, guys should just know that, okay? Because women, I think intrinsically, just want better. They want better. They want to have more.
The BBD, the bigger, better deal.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, the
bigger,
bigger,
better
better deal. But that's the thing too, because you could. There's many men out there.
Yeah.
Extension.
The extension box purchase. There's many guys out there who are. You'd look at them and you'd be like, "That's a great man, right? A provider, a good parent. He's treating his woman good and stuff like that." But then his woman goes out and gets another fucking guy and fucks him because she wants something different. She wants somebody who's gonna maybe not be all good, maybe not have all the boxes checked. I need somebody who's gonna fucking, not do everything I say because you're a bitch to me.
Yeah,
Type thing.
But
So that's the thing.
it's like never.
It's
good
always
enough.
gonna happen.
I don't know. I think for
Yeah.
both. I think it's the same for guys and girls. But it's like I don't know. It's like never good enough for anybody. Like no matter what.
I think. Well, yeah.
Well, you
but-
keep
no, no.
moving the
But
post.
with
Yeah.
Keep moving
with
the-
guys, it's usually a visual thing, right? Like a guy will step outside of his relationship if he finds somebody he's sexually attracted to, and you'll fuck him because he's sexually attracted to him. Women are gonna fuck somebody who has something more to bring to the table than their man has to bring, whether it's physique, whether it's money, whether it's status, whether it's any of those things. But usually that's what they're doing. They're cheating because they're obtaining something from the cheating. Where a guy, it's like, hey, I'm gonna fuck because she looks good, and if she's given the opportunity, I'm gonna fucking fuck. You know what I mean?
Not even she looks good. Like she has the pussy and
Yeah, or he's not getting any
Yeah.
pussy from his relationship. Then this behemoth is giving him pussy, so he takes the pussy because he needs the pussy. You know what I mean? So
Do you think?
What'd you say, pussy? That's crazy.
Do you think most people know what the difference is between like being like hyper in love and hyper in lust?
no, I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
because
there is a big
yeah,
difference.
There's definitely a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the difference to you guys as males identifying as cisgendered straight males?
So with me, like, I know the like I've said before, like, but, it's like I could be in hyper lust, like it's super in lust because I'm super attractive, like when we're together, like physically, like, oh wow, it's just like burning, like
Yeah.
you want to do something, right? But I know it's lust because there's nothing, that I don't want to spend the time with that person
Mm-hmm.
throughout the whole day or throughout
Right.
the whole week or throughout the whole month. Like that's not love. Like love is somebody you should actually, have that time with that's quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the quality time that we're doing is fucking.
Right.
Fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What about you guys?
that's the difference is that, you can have people that you're physically attracted to, want to do things to and with, right?
Yeah.
And not want to spend like the time with it. But then, like that's the difference. Like if you love somebody, you're willing to sacrifice and compromise for them, for their
Yeah.
life, right?
Yeah.
So like you're willing to do things to better their life or to help them be in a place of stability, right? And not even financially, but just like security and emotions and all that stuff. But then there's people you lust and you just want to fuck. That's why I think like if we can go back to Andrew Tate, it's one thing
We have to.
that he addresses that I think he's accurate on is that promiscuity in the sexes is different. Like when a guy cheats, you look at it and you're like, okay, well he fucked up because he fucked something else. But he's not going to go fucking start another life with this person.
Mm-hmm.
He just fucked him.
Yeah.
But a woman oftentimes will fuck somebody.
Which y'all do sometimes.
Which it does happen. But a woman will fuck a guy and all of a sudden have like a whole affair with him. And like it's
But
continuous.
This is my question.
It's a continuous thing where the guy can have sex with the person once and it's her choice to come back or not. Right? Because she's giving up the box. The guy can't take the box. Hopefully not. That's rape. But, yeah, you know what I mean? So that's the difference.
Rape
It's
is
like it's not. A guy can go out, and fuck and like have a one night thing and never see the girl again. But the girl is gonna do it, and then if she likes it, she's gonna keep going back. So that's the difference.
So hopefully this is the $1 million question, but if I could piece it together. Okay, so that's for a guy, right? We'll say for a guy, right? Physical, like
Right.
we that burning desire, it's good, it's blissful. But okay, for a woman, do you think that they lust for the lifestyle? Like they'll be with like say like an older guy or a guy who's rich, doesn't have a big, man part or whatever, just
You didn't buy the
yeah,
extension,
right? Or like they'll put up with a lot of shit just because they like the perks or the benefits of the image, whatever. Like it's not just purely physical. Like they cheat out of the boredom. Like, they want something exciting. So they'll put up with stuff to have the lifestyle. Like that's their lust.
Yeah.
The vanity type part.
I think that women in any aspect of relationships, like what we value most is stability. So I feel like even like if we are seeking out like another person or like another relationship, like we're doing that because that person makes us feel stable.
But that could be
Whether
love
it's
too.
like-
But we're trying to separate the love and
Well,
lust.
no, that's what
Okay.
I'm saying. Like even like in lust, like the stability can like you're lusting after that stability.
Mhm.
Like you're not getting it, and that person's like giving it to you for like that little bit of time.
Right.
Like it's stability and like your self confidence, or like the stability and like knowing that like there's somebody that like wants you. Like you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there can be lust in that. Like you don't necessarily want to spend, like you said, all of your time with that person. Like you're not going to put your energy into that person, but they're providing you with something for that moment. They're providing you with that stability, that confidence. Like they're reminding you that you're beautiful, that you're feeling good, like you're relying on them for that.
That's sad though, because it's like we don't tell each other enough like how great we are.
Yeah, communication's key.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And so like that's what I'm saying, like that could even be less like I'm lusting after them because they're providing me with something that I'm not getting. And like love is like I love this, like I don't want to like give this person up because like this is the person I want to spend my time with. Like I want to spend my time getting to know. But I feel like for women, like we'll do anything to like get that stability. And sometimes, unfortunately, like that validation. So, like, if another person outside of our relationship is giving us that, like, we're looking for that. Like, we don't necessarily always have those primal instincts that you always talk about. Like, y'all just want to fuck something. Like, no, we just want to feel stable, protected, needed, like, all of those other things. So, like, I guess that's like when women cheat, it's more emotional. Yeah, maybe.
So are women the nurturers and they want to be nurtured in return? And then guys are the physical and they want to be physical in return?
To an extent, I think. But yeah, I mean, most guys act off of just the instinct to do it. You know what I mean? Like to get the nut off. That's it. Pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, we have to keep like a certain amount of men here so we can have the specimen.
Men slaves.
And so we don't. Yeah. So there's not like inbreeding happening.
Technically, men have been slaves though.
Yeah.
Like, to build the infrastructure and
If
stuff.
I'm not getting,
Oh.
if I'm not getting like just jacked off to fucking produce the sperm like from a robot or something, and then they just take it. But if I'm like a slave and there's like, okay, let's say there's only 5,000, there's only 5,000 men. Okay? Let's say there's only 5,000 men on Earth, right? And the rest is women, millions of women,
I
right?
hate it here.
And they're like, you're a fucking breeding slave, and you get, and I'm like, I get to fuck
You're
how many
stallion.
women? I get to fuck how many to get them pregnant? Yes, sign me up right now. Contract. I don't care if I don't get paid anything. I only have to eat slop
You're
for the
a
rest of my life.
stallion.
But if I'm getting fucking like just like I'm sitting there and they have me tied up, kill me please, and they have like a machine come and jerk me off.
Not even that. What if
And
they,
take the semen away to
Somebody
facility.
come get
what if
him.
they extracted it from
Just
the
kill me,
balls?
please.
You know, what if they just like gave you a needle in the balls?
It's just trying to
Extracted
just
it?
kill me.
Yeah.
Just kill me. But if I'm breeding, that's fine.
You're participating in an act.
Do you think?
I hate it here.
Sorry.
That's not
kidding.
Do you think? So
We'll
like,
snip that part.
when you think about like a single mother,
Yeah.
like, not this is not saying anything bad. When you think of a single mother, usually they have like a son, right? Like
Mhm.
or a bad son of that,
Right.
Badass
or
son.
like a guy who's the womanizer. He has like the daughter or something.
Right.
Like, do you think it's be careful what you wish for? Like you wanted a guy, you know, to, so bad. Now you have a son. Now you have to put up with the son.
All the stuff that is.
Yeah, or you wanted a girl so bad, or you love girls, but then like you have a girl now, and it's like now you see what she has to go through. Like, be
Well,
careful what
say,
you wish
like-
for is a real thing.
Yeah, like
think so.
man
Right.
whores have daughters.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
because like they see the error in their ways, like if they're looking at their young daughter, if they're not like a complete pervert, they're looking at their daughter like, oh my god, I would never want my daughter to be treated like this. Like you know what I mean? Like I would like did I treat women like this? And like their whole like thought process changes on how they treat women. So there might be something to
Do
that.
you
Like
think
it
it's
might
like-
be your karma.
yeah, like the flamboyantness of like say like not just a celebrity, but like somebody who's like can get a lot of women because they have that attraction, seduction or whatever. So they have that, or then the women who like I don't know didn't have a dad, so they have to compensate for the masculinity, and then they want a guy because they see themselves in the guy or whatever, and they have the son. I don't know. I just wonder. Thoughts?
I always tell you guys, like, I think for me, like, I'm the way I am is because I had a dad. Like,
Right.
and I don't know what it's like to not have, like, strong, like, male figures in my life that are respectful and who have respected me and made me feel good and confident about myself. But I can see where not having that, like,
Yeah.
as a young girl could really, like,
I can't
mess up,
be
like, your
attention.
self-confidence. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and even, like,
Mhm.
your partner, she's
Right.
got a dad.
Yeah.
So, like, she,
Yeah.
like, her confidence level is
Right.
probably just, like, a little bit different. Like, you know what I mean?
My partner had a dad. Yeah.
Yeah. My partner got
No,
it.
I'm just thinking that now. Like no, but like there's so many like relatives or people, friends that they didn't have a dad and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and like I feel like for them.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's a necessary, and I don't even think it's, like, for, like, masculine energy. Because, like, we talked about this, right? Like, because, like, I date women, too, and it's like, women can raise strong men.
Mhm.
Like, and I feel like we don't give women enough credit to be able to, like, raise strong men. Like, I don't know that there's too much that a woman can't teach a little boy that a man can, other than, like, physical, like physiological changes, like, in their
Yeah.
body. Like, you know what I mean? But, like,
Well, it takes a village. It does.
it does take a village, but, like,
'cause
I
the-
feel like
the
we
thing-
expect
yeah.
the men to, like, teach them the, like, masculine, like, you know.
And then they learn it from. The thing is, like, the men who don't have a father, they learn how to be a man as far as like how to be in men environments through other men. That's their friends, and you don't know what they're learning.
Mhm.
They might be in a fatherless home too, and then you get hyper aggressive men because they don't know how to rein in their masculinity. They don't know how to rein in their testosterone flare ups and fighting and all that shit like that. So then you get an overly. That's where gangs come from, right? It's like environments, urban environments where there's not a lot of men involved because they're in prison.
Like
And now
hyper
you have, now
masculinity.
you have these young men who are trying to teach each other how to be
Prove
men.
themselves to
Yeah,
people.
and then it's the whole like fucking primal instinct of, well, now we got to fight each other to see who's the real man. You know, so that's one thing that you can only get from a man. And then hopefully, you know, that's why it's good to have programs and even churches where there's a man who's running the thing and can teach you or instruct you on, hey, you don't have to do that. You don't have to be this way. You don't have to be so macho. You don't have to do
Like a
all
role
this and
model.
that. Yeah, you know, role models and stuff. So those are things that, you know, men need other men for in society and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, me and Roman are a product of a single mother household, you know. I think we came out all right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It shows. I'm just
Well,
kidding.
no, but that's like not a bad thing. So like that's like even you thinking like, oh, maybe
Yeah.
like I'm not like macho enough or like, you know, like don't have like that big machismo, but like women appreciate that like so much more. Like, you know what I mean? That like you're a good communicator and like you're a good communicator. Like, and that could be just because like you guys were raised by women.
Mhm.
Or like even if you guys weren't good communicators like in the past and like you're learning it still, like I feel like maybe your mom like put that into you, like being like open to like maybe learning new things, like, you know what I mean?
I wonder if like so like say let's just say, you know, guys physically stronger, right? That's women, they're more tactical, right? So like a woman scorned, she can't like beat up the guy really, so she has to think of like ways to like you know, beat him down mentally or like, you know, reputation wise, whatever it is, right? So it's like you grow up with these traits and the guys like they're only physical, so they like physical, they want a woman physical, yeah. But a woman teaching a man, like, yeah, don't you think that they're gonna be more analytical and stuff like that and not as broad or, you know, I guess masculine. I can't think of the words of how to put it, but do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think like what's wrong with that?
Yeah, that's good. It actually
Like I
is
feel
good.
like we need more like tactful men. Like we need more, logical, like logically thinking men, like that don't lead with their strength. So like that's what like I learned in like my criminal justice classes is like women probably like they make better officers, but like we've been like programmed in society to say like
That's true.
men are better officers because like of the brute force that they're able to exude. But like as far as like these like de-escalation situations and like just being able to talk to people, like women bar none make way better officers. But you also need that physical force. But like to bring a situation down and not escalate it, like how we were talking about earlier, that's like where you want a woman in that situation.
That's a good point.
So we need robot men and regular human women.
Human women.
Yeah.
And then the world's gonna be
yeah.
fine.
Sounds good.
There we go.
We figured it
There
out.
we go. We figured it out.
That was
That's
$1 million
it.
question.
That's $1 million
It was.
question. So
That's what we need.
robot men and just plain old good fashioned God intended women.
Yeah, we don't need real men. We need y'all to be robots. Handle the rest. But right? Like you want
That's
like
it.
a woman
Let's go.
handling like a heated situation.
Boom. We just figured out all of the world's problems. All of the cures to
Subscribe.
society's ills.
Yep.
'Cause we
Subscribe.
we have all the answers to the world's
Yeah.
problems here at Rich at Heart.
Please subscribe. God damn it.
God damn it. God damn. I put lashes on for this thing.
Really good.